Thank you for listening to today's daily devotional. The lesson today is reading through colored lenses. I remember whenever I was in school, we had chapel one day, and a man who was an ex Catholic priest and now preaching the gospel came and spoke to us. And one of the things that he said was that he was taught and he had the failure of whenever he looked to the Bible or anything, he looked with Catholic tinted glasses. And I thought about that. You can wear different colored lenses and you see things and it makes different colors, tints to the things that you see. And people pick up lenses and they say, this is what I like. I like the way it looks. Well, that's good if you want to wear glasses that way. But whenever we study God's Word, we've got to make sure that we don't do it through colored glasses. You think about, for example, one thing that I've heard so many times is people read the Bible, and every time that they read the word wine, they say wine is alcoholic. So Jesus in John 2, he made an alcoholic beverage. Well, is it true that every time you read the word wine, it entails alcohol? Well, there's a lot of people that think that and profess that. But what about whenever you look at the word through glasses tinted to seeking God's will? Acts 17:11 speaks about you search the scriptures, whether these things are so. 1 John 4 and verse 1, you try the spirits. You look to God's word because it is a standard, Colossians 3 and verse 17. In our reading yesterday, in the book of Isaiah, the 65th chapter, we find a verse that's problematic for those people who want to justify themselves and their lust for liquor. They say, all wine is alcoholic. In Isaiah 65 and verse 8, thus saith the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster. Wait a minute. Where's that wine? It's still in the cluster. There are other passages that way, but the truth is, whenever we look and we're going to hold a position, we need to look and see what God says and look at the context that it's within. The truth is, every time that you see a context in which it's definitive that there is alcohol in the wine that is there, it brings about a bad result, brings about those things that are fleshly lust. If we look through glasses tinted to see God's will, maybe we would consider what Peter said in 1 Peter 2 and verse 11. Dear beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from the fleshly lust which war against the soul. Well, that pretty well sums it up for people who know what alcohol does, as testified by in God's Word. Don't make the mistake of saying that every time wine is spoken of, it's alcoholic. God's Word won't sustain it, only man's lust. If we look and we desire to simply look and see what God said, we will abstain from the fleshly lust, wine included. Some people say, well, I just do it in moderation. 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 3 says abstain from fornication. Moderation isn't entailed in that word. Let's have a good day, and we will if we learn to read through lenses tinted towards seeking God's will and not our desires. And when we do that, we will have a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.